Hey everybody, and welcome to Authors and Dragons, where a group of comedic fantasy writers get together and try to make it through a whole game of Pathfinder without accidentally dying. Let's see if we pull it off this week. As always, the odds do not look great.
Hi, my name's Joseph Barassi. I play the role of Bjorg Bjornsson, enthusiastic and violent barbarian. I was one of the authors in the Mongoliad project, and I am currently finishing a novel called Skyfarer.
Hi, I'm Rick Gualtieri. I play Silas Kane, invincible paladin of Toreg, at least until I roll the fucking dice. And I am the author of Bill the Vampire, Bigfoot Hunters, and I am one of the Indomitable 10 coming March 5th.
Hello, my name is Robert Bevan. I play the role of Klaus Richter, discoverer of secrets. In real life, I write the Caverns and Creatures comedy fantasy series of novels and short stories, starting with Critical Failures.
Hi, my name is Rob Cruzy, and I play Kutharik the Lost, who is a rather grumpy and unpleasant dwarf who seems to be very, very bad at healing people, but even worse at fighting, so he hides behind bushes and heals people to the best of his ability. In real life, I am the author of the Dis series of books, among others, such as Disenchanted, Disillusioned, and, I don't know, another one. That's it.
Hi, I'm Steve Wetherill. I play Brandon Firemaster, monk and horseman of the Horse Apocalypse. In real life, I write the comedy fantasy series The Doomsayer Journeys.
And I am Drew Hayes, the GM, aka reluctant stepfather to this orphanage of shit shows. I write superpowers, corpies, Fred the Vampire Accountant, NPCs, and a myriad of other stuff that's floating around out there if you really care. And when last we left our intrepid adventurers, they had holed up for the night in a bandit camp just full of blood and corpses, and the remains of corpses that they had burned in a pit outside. However, the night has safely passed in their makeshift home, sun rising upon them, everyone got a nice night of sleep, and you are now in a bandit camp that you have thoroughly murdered. How would you like to proceed?
Something went wrong. We're not stronger after having snorted the bandits.
We must inhale more!
I did sleep well though. I used somebody's foot as a pillow. It was good.
We need to go after their ape leaders.
And we need to get to Caldern.
Or that.
It always comes back to the apes.
We need to warn them about the apes.
Before we get too far, there's one thing I wanted to do, that I think we kind of forgot to do earlier. The sack of holding. What is it called? The sack of holding?
Bag of holding.
What it is?
Bag of holding.
Bag of holding. The sack. The sack. Did we ever? Kutharik wants to look inside the sack to see if there's anything inside of there. I don't think we ever actually checked that.
You did not. You open up the sack of holding, bag of holding. God damn it.
Sackworthy.
Yeah.
That's going to have to be the name, the title. Fondling the sack of holding.
You reach inside, and you just reach your arm into empty, vacuous space. There's the shit that you put in there, but other than that, nothing.
Did we put anything in there besides the
There's literal shit.
I wanted to say about oh, right, the literal shit. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't like a suit of armor or gems or something in there, and we're carrying it around for the next 2 weeks and have no idea that we have the key to the city or something in our bag.
Klaus would like to put his hand in the magic sack and say the word gold.
Did you put any gold into the sack?
No.
Then no gold comes out.
Okay. Just
Good effort, man. Well done.
thank
Get
you.
your hand out of my sack, man.
You always reach your hands into people's bags.
Only the magical sacks.
Stop profaning the sack of Toreg.
You wake up to Silas is stitching a little Toreg symbol on it. Needlework's actually quite distinguished.
This is Toreg. This is Toreg sack. The sack belongs to Toreg.
While we're getting our shit together, I'm going to put a couple of those spare rapiers in my pack, if anyone minds. And also, I think we used a lamp to set all those corpses on fire. Is there any lamp left? Any lamp oil?
No, you used all of the oil you could find to light the corpses on fire. That was not an easy task.
That was the priority at the time, though, to be fair. So, yeah, I understand that. That's fine.
That needed to be done. That was the best possible use for that oil.
Yeah. No, I'm in complete agreement. That's great. Cool.
So what do you guys want to do?
I don't know.
Just hang out. We're just this is it for today.
Bjorg is gonna collect up his things and start looking to retrace their steps back towards where they were, so that Caldern can be found.
Put this in perspective. Brandon's only just met you guys a couple of days ago, and ever since then we've just been killing the shit out of stuff. This is sort of some kind of weird morning after moment we've got going on here.
Wakes up. Why am I using a foot as a pillow? Oh god.
If I leave now, I wonder if they'll notice.
Boy, no one's screaming about their abs in 5 minutes.
I wonder if he will be well suited to arrive at a city. I wonder what its many wonders will look like.
I need to
There aren't many of us.
Well, we should go, because there are sinners to convert.
Okay.
All right. I'll make this very easy since you guys had to track your way through. Everybody give me one survival check each, and if anybody breaks a 15, you can get all the way back.
Is that
You just said it. You're going to make it easy.
perception?
Yeah, I was going to say, what is this easy shit that you're throwing at us?
Bjorg rolls an 11.
Silas rolls a 6.
Uh-oh.
Jesus Christ.
All right, am I rolling perception because I don't have survival?
Tharic rolls a 13.
You can roll whatever you want, Klaus, because it looks like Brandon Thighmaster just got y'all there.
Okay.
Where am I?
I rolled a 15 perception.
Oh, yeah, Brandon Firemaster rolls a 20.
Yes, he does. And with
Follow the
that,
monk!
he can get you back. Okay. One of you, I don't care who, needs to roll me a D100.
Okay.
I ain't touching that one.
34.
You arrive to find that your cart is still there. Your horse, however, is nowhere to be seen.
Damn it!
Damn it.
You did sort of
Apes
leave
took
him
him.
abandoned
Abandoned.
in the forest overnight.
Do we see any tracks at all, or any signs that the horse has been eaten by a bigger, scarier horse?
No,
There is-
no!
There is no blood, I will tell you that.
I think we should try and track our horse. We've already been done out of one horse. I think this.
I think it was vampires.
But we need to get to Caldern!
You can all roll me survival checks to see if you can track the horse.
Well, if it's a vampire horse, we're never going to be able to track it. You can't track a flying horse. That's ridiculous.
Silas rolls a 9.
Gutharic rolls a mighty 11.
Bjorg rolls
Wait, no,
an
18. I was looking at Joe's.
Klaus rolls a natural 1 in perception.
Klaus is checking under the cart for some reason. No one's entirely sure why. Gutharic actually manages to follow the horse tracks off toward the edge of the forest, where they go about 4 steps in and then vanish completely.
Well, so much for the horse.
That's weird.
All right, Silas.
Those damn dirty apes.
Well, that's what a 34 on the D100 will get you.
All right, Silas, you ready to pull this cart?
Gladly, but only if you promise to whip as I do.
Correct.
Can I do a perception check to see if I can figure out what happened to our horse? Why it disappeared? Or
You may roll a perception check.
okay,
So start putting the reins on while he's doing that.
I get a 13.
You do have no fucking idea. This is some weird shit.
You're going to have to accept
I pretend
it
like I do
sometimes.
though.
Yeah.
Sometimes weird stuff happens to horses. That's
I know exactly what happened here, but I cannot tell you, the rest of you. It will be too disturbing for you. We should continue on to Caldern.
Yes! Onward to Caldern!
is he able
Yeah,
to
Silas
pull the
can't pull this cart by himself, guys.
Whip him harder.
Okay, hang on, Silas. What's your actual strength score?
Thank you, Toreg. Let's see. 15.
Okay, yeah, you can contribute to pulling the cart very well, but you're not making up for 2 full-grown horses.
Perhaps we should just walk.
I don't know. We already lost our horses. It seems a shame we lose our car as well.
And you've got a bunch of armor and shit in that cart.
Oh, God, okay. Bjorg will take a turn also helping to haul the cart. He's got a strength of 18, so.
Okay, yes, the 2 of you, with your strengths, can successfully haul the cart.
Brandon
I
will
still
switch out.
converted, brother.
Shut up.
I will ride. Kutharik will ride on the cart.
Do not whip me.
You can whip me.
Okay.
Kutharik will whip only Silas.
It's probably for the best.
All right,
So you-
Klaus will ride on
Brandon
the
will
top.
push from the back.
Brandon will
I hope.
push from the back.
So
All
no
right.
one's gonna whip.
Keep watch up top.
Keep watch.
Oh my goodness. You guys cannot keep track of horses for shit. All right.
Well, you kind of
When
get
they
sidetracked.
turn evil, that was the horse's choice.
Was it? Was it really?
We need to exercise that horse.
Well, you tried, but your
expected
friends kind of
from
whipped
him.
the shit out of you.
I expected it from him, but his brother was supposed to be able to make decisions better.
Maybe he did. Maybe the horse got the fuck away from you guys while the getting was good.
Yeah.
Fuck this
We-
shit. I'll just find a cheetah to eat me.
Yeah. It's like, well, that last one got possessed by some sort of weird demon stone magic, so maybe a cheetah's not that bad.
Either that or it went to become the demon horse's first cultist.
Oh yeah. You never know.
Yeah. The horse apocalypse is still on the table.
Start pulling towards Caldern, and the harder Kuthrik whips me, the louder I sing hymns.
Okay. You all
Bjorg looks
progress.
disturbed and that's impressive for Bjorg.
You all progress down the Kingdom Road for a couple of hours. You start noticing travelers also coming down the road who steer way the fuck away from you guys because you have a cart with no horses, 2 people hauling it, and 1 singing praises to Toreg while getting whipped. So you've got a wide berth on this road.
Low profile, guys.
Yeah. Eventually,
save Caldern.
eventually the road starts narrowing down, and the trees sort of push in, and before long you see a high wall coming toward you, and you crest a hill, and you arrive at a checkpoint, which you should be able to see on the map.
Hmm.
It is large and gated with several archers lining the wall facing both sides, several armed men at the forefront of the gate, and 1 man in very elaborate armor conducting interviews with every traveler as they attempt to pass by. You fall into a line with the existing travelers who've queued up. Whether you stay there or not is up to you. I'm just telling you how you arrive.
I have a feeling that the truth might not be our best friend at this point if they ask us what we've been up to. I know technically we were in the right and they were bandits, but I don't know. I still have this guy's foot imprinted in my neck. I don't know. If
They'll
understand.
let us in, no problem. Ours is a holy mission to save their wicked city.
You just tell them that what we have been up to is adventure.
Would anyone like to roll
Man, let's
perception
not
to try and listen to
save
the
the
people
city.
ahead of you and get a sense of what questions are being asked?
Yeah, Bjorg's gonna do that.
Okay, which of us is the most socially normal?
God, that's like asking which laxative is going to give you the shits the least.
Bjorg rolled a 6. As for the he has a charisma of 16. So
Sorry, Silas is singing too loud for you to hear.
That actually is appropriate.
I think we let Bjorg do the talking because he's dumb, but he's likable.
Okay. So Bjork tries to listen. Hears can't hear over Silas singing. No one else gives a shit. And you can all see the guards and everything sort of rummage through this cart, and then they allow it to pass. They open the gates. The guards sort of like get in a more aggressive stance. They only allow that cart and the passengers that have been screened to go through. It's very clear that if anyone else tries, they're going to catch a mace up the ass.
I would also like to do a listen check and a observation. How many carts are ahead of us?
Well, now there's just two different parties. So there's two parties. One's like mostly gnomish, it looks like, and they are being interviewed. Anyone who wants to can take another crack at that perception check.
I would like to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to take a crack.
Klaus rolls an 8.
Brandon Firemaster rolls a 12.
Neither of you does super well over the sound of Silas singing. You can make out some questions about, you think, what brings you, and then they're asking like a really long question about like, what did you hear like the word items, you hear magic, you hear enchantment, and the little party like keeps shaking their head no.
Oh crap, hide the sack.
And then the guards look to the man in the giant armor, who nods, and the next party is allowed to go. Brings up one party before you, and they are being questioned. Again, you have the chance to roll perceptions for those who would like to try.
So if we've already rolled, can we go?
Yep, this is a new conversation.
Okay, cool.
Klaus rolls a 19.
Brandon Firemaster rolls a 23.
Bjorg rolls an 8. Jeez.
You do have Silas right in your ear. It's kind of appropriate.
Yeah.
Sing with me, brother.
No.
Catharic rolls a 10.
Okay. So Klaus and Brandon Thighmaster can hear the two guards asking, what brings you to Caldern? How long do you intend to stay? Do you have any business? Do you have any associates? And then they go right into this very long spiel asking if they have brought any unnative vegetation, any unnatural creatures, or any items that bear enchantments, any items that bear magic, any items that are in any way non-natural that were found during their journeys. And it just sort of goes on like that for about 2 minutes. And this is like a bigger, tougher group, and they shake their head, and they're like, no. The guards look at the big armored man, and this time he gives his head a definite shake to the negative.
Uh-oh.
And the guard directly in front of the party sort of seems to act as if he has knowledge, walks over to someone, grabs him, sort of yanks free of his belt, and you notice him rustle around, and he pulls out a small dagger, and he holds it up. The big man gives a nod. They take the dagger, and then they let the party through.
Guard the sack.
And now,
Worried
you
that
are
they're
all
gonna
walking
grab
up.
my sack.
Yeah, they're gonna grab your sack. Because I can't bluff for shit.
We're also going to have to fess up that Silas is an unnatural creature.
I was going, yeah. Alright. Bjorg straightens up.
So you guys step up to
Have
these
faith, brothers,
guards.
for we protect the sack of Toreg.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna stuff the sack in my pants.
You know this isn't a covered cart, right? It's just...
I'm gonna kind of sneak off behind the cart.
How are you gonna, as the cart is being pulled up to the gate, how are you going to sneak off from a riding position? I want to hear this, so I know what to ask you to roll.
I'm gonna fake being drunk and roll off the back of it.
Okay.
On the ground.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I had to know how you were doing it so I could figure out what to roll. Roll me an acrobatics check and a bluff check.
Oh god. An acrobatics check? I'm pretty sure I don't have that.
Hey, that might work to your advantage.
do have acrobatics. Okay. Acrobatics. Kutharic rolls a... Damn it, hang on. Hello. Kutharic rolls 20 for the acrobatics check.
All right, now roll me a bluff check.
Backflips off the...
There's no way he's going to be able to bluff that now. Hey, look, guys, I'm drunk. And then there's a triple flip off the back of it.
Very bad at bluffing, but we'll give this a try. Okay. Bluff, he rolls a 16.
That's actually not bad. And so the high acrobatics means Kuthric has really good control as he appears to drunkenly tumble off the back and fall down. But he does so in a way that doesn't hurt himself. And he had a 16 bluff. Let's give it... Okay, so these are humans, and Kuthric is a dwarf. Let's give it a 25% chance of racism. Kuthric, roll me a D100, and you pick a run run of 25. So 1 to 25, 26 to 50, etc., etc. So pick one, and then roll and see if you get it.
Okay, roll D100. Let's go with 76 to 100.
All right.
Right?
Yep, that's 25.
Come on. Wait, am I hoping for racism?
If
or am I hoping for not? What's the
there are pros and cons to both.
70...
But if they're
racism,
if they're racist and they think all dwarves are drunks anyway, then it's not going to hurt your act.
Catharic rolls a 5.
Okay, they are not racists.
Roll for racism.
I hate
Where's your titles?
Yeah, okay. So, as Kutharic is apparently drunkenly tumbling off the back, the guard who is the main speaker is just staring at you all with unmasked shock on his face as he looks you all up and down at Silas, who's singing of Toreg, and Bjorg, who's playing the card with no horses. And he just stares at you all for a solid 10 seconds before saying, Are you all covered in soot and blood? I'd like to remind you, the last thing you did was a giant bloody battle, and then you burned the bodies and stood over the pit smoking them, and no one has showered or bathed or anything.
Well, the good news is he used to have a bandit problem.
Jorg is going to drop his part of the cart, straighten up, kind of dust himself off.
You fail miserably to dust yourself off. You're just smearing it at this point. Continue.
Good morning. The woods are rather rough this time of year, aren't they?
Do
you need me to roll anything?
No, I mean, you haven't lied yet. That's part of the rules. He just sort of looks at you. We try to patrol and keep them not that rough, although it looks like you folks had quite a tough go of it.
We did. There were bandits.
There were bandits. And apes.
Well, we don't actually know. Well, yes, there were apes, but mostly bandits.
Right then. So he's finally going to get his bearings. You know, y'all are a weird-ass group, but he's been working this post for a while. He's seen some weird shit. And he's going to sort of straighten up. Very well. You wish to pass the checkpoint into Caldern?
Yes, we do.
What brings you to Caldern?
That is a long, complicated story.
What have you come here for? To visit the port? To take to the seas? Trade? Questing?
Questing. Most assuredly, definitely questing.
Excellent. What quest brings you to Caldern?
Strangeness.
And he's going to look at his buddy. Does that count? Does that? His buddy just kind of like shakes his head like, I don't fucking know.
That's all the old man told us.
Oh, okay, old man. So there was a quest giver. All right. Please elaborate. What grand figure sent you on this path?
Jorg is going to look at Klaus.
He told us it was dangerous to go alone. And he gave us a paladin. And then here we are.
The old man from scene 24.
Hold on. Actually, hold on. There were the old priests, weren't they?
There were. That's why I didn't make him roll a bluff check.
Yeah, that's right. I just can't fucking remember their names. Or the temple. Shit.
All right, roll an intelligence check. Even
Yeah.
if you can't remember, your character might.
Yes. Does remember that there was old people. Bjorg rolls a 6.
Klaus rolls a 7.
You're both pretty sure his name was Father Who Gives a Fuck.
Is it not obvious, man? We are here on a holy quest to save this city from the devil horse, the intelligent apes, and to convert it to Toreg's worship.
I do remember the old man now. That's where we met Brandon.
Yeah? That's where you got your cart, too.
Yeah.
We acquired this cart after meeting some kindly old priests after we were spat out by a river, and we acquired this monk.
I'm here on a quest of universal kind of enlightenment. So that pretty much covers it, I think, if you'll just be letting us in.
He's going to stare at y'all for a few more moments and then just lean down and kind of, I'm just going to write general visits. He looks back up. Do you have any contacts, family members, or associates in Caldern who can provide voucher for you and your worthiness?
Not since the bears ate them. Thanks for bringing that up, sir.
I am from the north, so unfortunately I do not.
We don't have bears, right? Otherwise, it's a coastal city. No, we don't have fucking bears. Oh wait, what about the sea bears? Oh, I forgot about the sea bears. All right. And then he just looks at you. I'm sorry for your loss. Eaten by sea bears.
I believe the abbot of my order once visited here once, but that was before he became possessed and needed to be purged.
The Order of Toreg. We don't get many Order of Toreg people here, seeing as it's a coastal city, and historically those altars tend to be in mines.
Then you were in for a treat. I hope to spread his word.
Sea bears.
His word is butt cheeks.
All right then. That's mostly formality stuff, just census. Here's the real crux of the issue. We have been having quite the issue with enchanted items popping up. They are causing a lot of trouble, and as such, we are really locking down the borders to try and keep any more from coming back in. So, most important, have any of you acquired in your journey any items of enchanted, mystical, magical, or metaphysical nature, to your knowledge, that have any capabilities that are yet undocumented?
Brandon would like to point at his abs at this point.
Is it something? Did you eat something? Are you pointing to your stomach?
I don't know. Is the guard in this? Is he blind? Is he visually impaired? I'm not sure how to respond.
I was just saying, would like Kutharik know that the bag of holding is a documented item? Because the guy said undocumented.
Yes, he did.
What about that red potion we have?
That is also one.
Quick, drink it.
So who's going to answer? Aside from Brandon Thighmaster, is anybody else going to answer this question? Because they are waiting.
Bjorg is just going to say nothing undocumented that I know of, other than the general strangeness about us.
Right. So you have no magical items, or enchanted, or metaphysical, or mystical.
Does the blessings of Toreg count?
It does not.
We have so much of those.
And then he's going to shrug.
I'm really tempted to tell him at this point that I have something magical in my pants, just to see what he'll do. But that's probably not a good idea. We'll just I'm just gonna say, just play dumb and say no. We got nothing.
Okay.
I've got nothing.
Both of you roll, the ones who are talking, which is Bjorg and Kuthrik, roll me bluff checks.
Okay.
Damn. Why did I open my mouth? I shouldn't have talked.
You should have said there's something magical in your pants. You should have said that. Because it's not a lie.
That
It was not a lie.
Bjorg rolls an 8.
I want to change my answer and tell
You
him that I
cannot
have
change
something-
your answer.
Behold the magical dwarven sack.
I have
Oh, wait.
something magical.
He's still
in my
pretending to be
pants.
drunk.
Right.
No, I mean, I have something magical in my pants. That is how you can change your answer. You've already said no. You can add to it if you want.
Yes.
I don't.
You
see
still
that
have to roll me a
increasing-
bluff, though.
I don't see
Do
that
it.
increasing chances. All right, bluff. Okay, I have nothing. No, I have no idea. I've never seen any magical items at all. Anything like what you're talking about at all. Nothing. Oh God.
Go ahead and say it.
7.
Yeah, Kuthark rolls a 7. The guard's just gonna tap his thing. Well, you're both clearly lying, and that's great. And he looks at the big guard, and the big guard just kind of like gives a slight nod, and you can see him tilt his head toward Kuthark. And who is actually carrying the potion?
Good question.
I
I thought it was Silas, wasn't it?
I believe it
Silas?
has to be Silas, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
So he will tilt his head at Silas and Kuthark.
At this point, I'm going to point to Silas and say, okay, no, all right, I admit we were mistaken. I remember now that he has a potion on him. That is one thing that we have.
Uh-huh. And you obviously have something too. That's what my captain just told me.
Tell him that all you've got in your pants is your sack.
Oh, I have nothing. I have nothing. I was lying earlier about because I knew about the potion, and I didn't fess up about that, and I'm feeling bad about that now, but now that's all.
But it's a divine potion. It once turned this barbarian into one of the chosen people, the dwarves.
I'd really like to not remember that right now.
Uh-huh. So, listen, boys. We're not letting you in here with uninspected magical items. You can, at this point, either fork them over, let us make sure they're not dangerous, fight your way through. I don't recommend that. Or you can turn around and leave.
All this
Inspection.
dishonesty is making me sick.
What sort of what do we get them back if they're or whatever?
Well, that depends.
Kutharus looks like he's wearing Depends.
I can't guarantee that the sack is not dangerous at this point. It's been in my pants for a few minutes now.
Oh,
It's
Silas will hand him over the
spell.
Silas hands him over the potion and be like, drink it and become one with the chosen.
Oh my God!
He takes it and then hands it over to the big armored guy, who just sort of holds it up and swirls it in front of his eyes. And then silently hands it back to the guard, who then hands it back to he hands it back to Silas. Okay, potion is purely herbal, no noticeable distinctions of magic on it. It might have some properties that are unknown, but with no infernal or abyssal traits, it is considered safe to pass, and it is too low level to be assessed for a fee. All right, dwarf in the back.
I have something herbal in my pants. Okay, I'll walk. Kazark walks up to the guy and pulls the sack out of his pants and holds it into the guy's face as best he can from his low height.
The guy's going to very firmly tighten his gauntlet on his hand, and then reach out and gingerly pick it up, and then try to hand it to the captain, who he offers it out, and the captain just shakes his head, and he just raises his hand as if to say, "No, you hold it while I look." And he does so.
It's got shit rags inside of it too, so he's in for a surprise if he looks inside.
And then
Dark,
he
he's oogling your sack.
just sort of inspects it, comes back down, and the guard, he does not hand you back the sack, however. He continues holding it and says, "All right then, looks to be a standard bag of holding. Nothing too unusual there. Contents didn't check out as anything strange. However, for one this size and of potency, there is going to be an immigration fee."
Oh man.
Yeah, these can range anywhere from 1 to 50 gold, and seeing as you just made me handle your nutsack magical item, I'm going to go ahead and put it on a heavy 30. How's that?
I don't think I have that.
How much
Roll me a bluff check. Because you definitely do.
All of this dishonesty is making me feel like I don't know who I am anymore.
I hear you, buddy.
That is a load of horseshit.
Catharic rolls a 17 for bluff.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. In that case, it stays with us.
Bjorg will fork over the money. Not terribly attached to coin, honestly.
All right, deduct 30 gold, and he hands you back the bag of holding.
Bjorg is going to throw the bag of holding back at Kutharik's face.
Thanks, big guy.
Catharic, you get a sweaty face full of sack.
Can we go now?
Nope, that was just the first part. Now, let's see. Do you have any animals? Any unknown? Any vegetables, minerals? And he just sort of goes down a list, and it takes about 2 minutes to get through, but at the end, you guys genuinely don't have any more shit. So he...
What? We have these fine wolf pelts.
No, we don't!
Yeah.
No, you don't. You did not do a good job with that. All right, and last one. Have any of you been convicted of any crimes in any neighboring kingdoms that we should be aware of before allowing you entrance to ours?
Absolutely not.
Bjorg doesn't spend any time in jail.
Does mortal sin count as a crime?
Oh, God.
Oh, we could be here a while.
Does it count if the jail no longer exists?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But he was never tried, so he was technically never convicted.
Brandon's got a clean rap.
So you
I
guys
don't
get...
believe Catharic has ever had any serious legal trouble.
All right. With that, he looks to his captain one more time, who gives the nod. They open the door, and you all are allowed to pass. And as you go, he says, "Welcome to the kingdom of Caldern. Make any trouble, and we'll cut off your heads."
Lovely.
As you all ride, there are again more people, and I assume Silas is still singing hymns of Toreg.
Hell yeah.
There are more people, and they are nowhere near any of you. As Bjorg and Silas haul a cart, being passed by regular horses and a few oxen.
We are adventurers, haul a cart.
God damn it. Okay, so as you guys go, you're going to be traveling pretty much for the rest of the day. Once the sun starts setting, you notice that a bunch of the travelers are all sort of, bedding down, setting up for the night, making little tents and makeshift camps. You can camp sort of near them if you want. You can go off on your own. You guys can push through and try to get through the night. Because this is all happening right atop a cresting hill. And when you get to the top of it on the road, you can see off in the distance the twinkling lights of Caldern, and beyond it, the sea. You think you will probably reach it with one more day's journey.
I say we camp near the others.
Yep.
I think I would like to see how they react to us.
We'll try to get a sing-along going.
We will try to be social now.
Okay.
So start setting up camp, I guess.
How do you like your wolf?
Murdered.
Well, we can do that.
So Bjorg is going to start, so I guess somewhere all on the top of Yon Hill, Bjorg is going to start setting up a campsite.
Okay, you all begin setting up a campsite, I guess quasi near other people.
Quasi.
Someone roll me a D100.
I'm going to avoid it this time. Since the last time I rolled a D100, our horse went missing.
Kuther rolled a 5. I wouldn't let him do it.
I'm feeling lucky. I'm going to do it.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh,
Robert beat me to it.
78.
all right. Class beat you to it with a 78. As you all are going about camp, you get ready, and once you've got like a fire built and your little bedrolls rolled out, you look around and you realize, weren't the other people closer? when you started this? And they, but almost all of them have sort of slunk off, away from you all.
Perhaps we should go investigate. Maybe they have something to hide.
Well, they're hiding all right. They're huddling and giving you all weird stares.
Well, we are covered in blood.
Blood and soot. Yes.
Is there any water nearby? Is there any like rivers or anything? I mean, I know there's the oceans.
There's the ocean. The only water you have right now is in your water skins.
Okay, not gonna do that.
Catharic's not big on bathing, so he's all right.
York is a Northman. He loves his hygiene.
About an hour later, unless anyone wants to go fuck with the locals.
Oh, actually, so yeah, Silas is going to go wander and introduce himself and the love of Toreg and make sure that they haven't been compromised by intelligent psychic apes.
Roll me a charisma check, Silas. You can use diplomacy if you have it.
Actually, this charisma check actually do be a little bit better.
All right, do charisma.
Silas gets a 12.
All right. They do not pelt you with things. Instead, they just cover their ears and wait for you to leave.
This is a rock star
I was going to
moment.
go
for you.
along with them and try to make sure that they did pelt him with things, but I'm feeling kind of lazy, so I guess I won't.
Okay, so now a half hour later, a patrol of guards swings by the camp and says they've gotten reports of one of your group harassing the others.
Oh, so they come by our camp?
Yes.
Harassing. This will not do. We'll be sure to talk to these people and give them a sermon on Toreg.
Bjork is just going to gesture at Silas as if he talks to people sometimes, and very often people don't like it.
Well, keep in mind that this is a Kingdom Road. It's patrolled by the Kingdom Guards, and we like to keep things nice and peaceful on here.
But this is Toreg's world.
Oh no.
Is
Silas
being charged with some sort of crime? And if so, is there a fitting corporal punishment that can be meted out for this crime?
No charges yet. We're just keeping a reminder to stay friendly. 'Cause if you don't, we'll send the other guy around. And then he just sort of spits and they ride off.
Cowboy guards.
Yeah, a little bit. You definitely get like a deep south vibe from them.
Okay.
Silas like nudges Bjorg and be like, "This is truly a godless land. They need us."
They all just realised they've basically ordered Silas to be friendly there, and what that might possibly entail.
All right.
You have a mandate to make friends.
Silas, I assume you continue being Silas.
Sure.
All right, so he continues silencing it up. A half hour later, you can all notice an elven man sort of strolling down the road, stopping in each camp, having like a quick talk, and then some like are a little friendly, some like shell out some money, and he hands over some goods that seem to be appearing from nowhere, and he eventually makes it over to y'all's camp.
Isn't Klaus a half elf?
I'm a half elf.
This is a full elf.
Okay.
All right.
Klaus, it's a full version.
It's Klaus 2.0.
His pointy ears like you do.
Are we rolling for racism again? Is that what's happening?
No.
I automatically give it to you guys. Oh, man.
All right, I'm curious. What's this guy selling?
So he walks up to you all and says, "Good evening, travelers.
Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Strel, and I am a wizard. A trader at that."
Did he
Is
say
that
he
a
was a traitor?
subclass of wizard?
It's the kind that makes money.
Okay.
Dig that.
What do you trade, sir?
All sorts of goods for the weary on the road. For example, for a single coin each, you can all enter a lavish mansion, have a lovely dinner, take showers, relax, enjoy yourselves. For only a silver, I can provide you with a hot, fresh-cooked meal, eaten out here in the open camplight. And for a copper, I can give you a sack stuffed with feathers to make a nicer pillow.
Why would we want any of that?
Not everyone does. And then he sort of looks you up and down. Wait, you're the Paladin of Toreg, aren't you?
Praise be! Are you a true believer?
I have a present for you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And he reaches into his robes and he pulls out a beautiful, ornate symbol of Toreg.
Oh.
It was purchased for you by the guards as a gift.
Silas pretty much drops to his knees at the guy's feet. Thank you. I am unworthy.
Is anyone going to roll to detect bullshit? Is that something we can do?
You can roll.
George's looking at like the others. Hold on, let's see how he. What's the DC here for sense motive? I'm guessing.
Yeah, that would be. He's not lying. They did purchase it, so
Yeah, well,
that would just be a straight. Yeah, sense motive.
all right. Bjorg rolls a 7. So basically, he's just looking around at the others, going, "The world makes no sense."
So, Silas, do you accept the symbol?
I accept it and invite him to sit with us at the campfire.
Okay. As soon as Silas has touched the symbol, you all notice that he is opening his mouth and talking, but nothing is coming out.
Sir, I would like
I
to
hear myself.
You hear yourself.
Oh, then I just keep on talking about Torek.
Yep.
Okay, everybody pretend like we can hear him. All right, I want him to catch on.
I would like to give you a gold from one of your mansion deals.
Very well, very well. He holds out his hand. Would any of you like to know how this works, or how you can hear your friend again?
No, here's another gold.
Bjorg's like to know how this works.
How does this work?
It's a peacekeeping measure. Essentially, all you have to do to hear him is touch the symbol. You will not be cursed. It was keyed specifically to a paladin of Toreg. And once you've touched it, you will hear your friend's voice again. Forever.
Wait.
It's one and done. Once you touch, you hear him.
So,
Okay.
if one of us touches him, do we all hear him?
Nope. It's an
Okay,
individual thing.
Awesome. All right. Well, I've taken 2 gold out of my inventory.
He reaches into like his sleeve and he pulls out a doorway and he sort of shakes it a few times and then it just sort of thumps into the middle of the road. And there's a very ornate door and he reaches up, turns the handle, and opens it for you.
All right.
And
Good
there
night,
is
suckers.
a gorgeous mansion inside.
Are there any hookers?
There are no hookers.
All right.
You know what? Bjorg is actually very hungry, so he's gonna fork over some. He's gonna fork over some money.
Does the mansion deal come with food?
Oh yeah, that's what he said. It's showers, soft bedding, and a massive feast.
Oh, that's nice.
So you walk in and there's just this huge dining hall filled with food. And like invisible forces are just moving it and putting out new stuff and pouring drinks and it's gorgeous. There's a couple of other travelers you can see already eating in there.
Oh, all right. It's not just a place for me. Okay.
Yeah, he's been plying this all around.
Well, no, I didn't know if he was giving individual. All right, yeah, all right, I got it. Cool.
Bjorg's going to take a gold as well to take that deal, partially because he's figuring doing this, he can, take a bath and freak people out less.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Brandon will give a gold to get clean and beautiful again.
All right.
Kutharik's going to remain outside on
Kutharik wisely stays to watch y'all shit. Including your cart and your bedroll.
And our horse.
Nope.
Silas. Oh, I was talking about Silas.
Yeah.
For the next hour, an oddly mute paladin just wanders off to harass more people with with this symbol of Torag, his mouth moving but no sound coming out.
It's made up. This is probably the most attention people have given him when he's talked for ages.
Yeah. You find people very receptive, Silas. They just sort of stare at you in curiosity and interest. Sometimes they nod along. Every now and then they'll even offer you like a bite of food or whatever. They're just, whatever. They seem to almost take pity on you, probably because they don't know what you're saying.
Silas can still hear himself. He's just singing phrases,
Yeah.
screaming at the top of his lungs.
Silas is preaching up a storm. Roll me a perception check to see if you even notice that no one can hear you. Oh, I've never wanted you to natural one something so bad.
Silas gets a 7.
Oh, with as involved as your preaching as you get, you probably don't notice. No, you're really into it. To be honest, Silas is so used to being ignored, I'm not sure he'd catch on.
This has been a good day for Torag.
Ugh. All right, so those of you in the mansion, it is lavish and gorgeous. You can take big soaking baths and showers, and when you get out, your clothes have been cleaned, and the food is incredible. There's wine, there's mead. It's a good deal for a gold.
Drunk Bjorg.
Do you guys have anything you want to do besides get clean, get fed, and get drunk?
No, that sounds about right.
What else is there to do?
Is there dancing in the mansion?
There is. There's a ballroom. It's a mansion, son.
And that dancing just got a little bit more interesting. That's how Brandon Firemaster's spending his night.
Oh, there's hot, quick motions. There's like a slow ballroom dance. There's Pony by Genuine, which you're not entirely sure how that's possible, but man, if there's a fucking dance party, there's Pony by Genuine.
Excellent. Brandon will find a table to use as a podium and spend the rest of the night doing his thing.
Brandon has now left several attendees a little unsure of their sexuality.
Excellent.
Kutherick, from your end, Strel waits to see if you take him up on his offer. When you do not, he just sort of sighs and grabs the door, shakes it again, and it goes back into like a little small thing, and he tucks it back into his sleeve. Can I offer you a meal or the pillow?
I know I'm good. I don't need anything.
All right, then. And he'll kind of walk onto the campsite, and he takes his finger, and he just scratches like a big X in the ground. And then he walks off. I would avoid that come sunrise if I were you.
Vampire horses.
Avoid the X?
Avoid the X come sunrise.
What is the X?
You'll see.
Okay.
I'll tell you for a copper. Everything costs money.
Oh, jeez. Alright, I'll give the guy a copper so he'll tell me what the hell's going on.
That's where your friends will be coming back.
So where are they now?
They're in the mansion.
Okay. But what is the mansion?
How much do you know about theoretical space in vis-a-vis magical conjurations and punching holes in the space-time continuum?
What do you got?
He holds out his hand. Lessons are 10 gold.
Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna avoid the X and call it good for the night.
Okay. Does anybody actually try and get any sleep in this mansion?
Bjorg does eventually.
Eventually.
I imagine I'll pass out sooner or later.
And Silas, do you go back to the campsite to go to bed?
Oh yeah, and he harangues Kutharic, pretty much not realizing that Kutharic can't hear a damn thing.
Kutharic with everyone else in the mansion and Silas magically silenced. This is literally the best night you've had in weeks. All right, everyone eventually goes to bed. I guess you guys aren't going to bother setting a watch since there's just two of you and it's sort of a campsite. And come sunrise, give me perception checks. Silas and Kutheric.
Silas gets a 4.
Zarek gets a 25.
Oh, holy shit. So Kutharic, did you tell Silas not to be near the X come sunrise?
Did I tell who?
Did you tell Silas to avoid the
Well,
X at sunrise?
No. I kind of kept that to myself because I was just enjoying the silence.
All right, let's say there's a... Well, all right, so let's say there's going to be 5 spots to sleep. Kutheric occupies 1. The X is on another. So that's a 1 in 4 chance that Silas bedded down on the X. Silas, give me a D4 and pick where the X is.
The X is on 3.
X is on 3.
And Silas rolls a 1.
Okay. Silas sleeps soundly, snoring wildly. And Kutheric, however, with his natural 20, is jerked awake by the explosion in midair as Klaus, Bjorg, and Brandon Thighmaster all come tumbling down from the sky, slamming into the X, jarring them all awake.
Fluffy pillows.
The mansion, like the last wisps of a dream, is completely gone, and you are back in the hard, shitty earth.
Bjorg burps loudly.
Klaus makes a fortitude save versus throwing up. 17.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'm okay, guys.
You're just rolling back to sleep. All right, who slept in the mansion and was missing hit points?
I was.
Okay, how much were you missing?
I was down by most. I think I was at 5 out of 15. I was missing 10.
Okay, how much do you heal per night?
2 for my level, 2 for my modifier, so 4.
4. You healed 8.
Ace.
Klaus was at 6 of 15.
And how much do you heal?
Let's see if I have a con mod. I do not. So 2.
So 4.
All right.
Basically, everybody who slept in the mansion healed double the amount they normally would have.
All right, I'll take it.
Okay. All right, cool. Excellent.
Yeah, it was
nice.
That guy makes a good living doing this for a reason. It's one spell, and he can throw a shitload of people in there.
All right. Bjorg's back up to 18.
And with that, the dawn has risen. It is time to pack up camp.
Bjorg is going to start loading everything up.
Silas will put his horse harness back on and hold out that symbol in front of him as he pulls.
It'd be a lot easier to whip him now. He's not making any noise.
Yeah, you guys notice the other camps aren't avoiding you quite so much. I mean, less of you are covered in blood and soot, and the piercing sound of Silas has begun to diminish.
It's the sound of Silas.
Certainly from reality and a little bit from memory, as you're like, oh, maybe it wasn't that bad. And they're willing to get it a little bit closer.
Plus, we're all burnished and clean now, except Kutheric, who's a giant blood dust bowl.
And Silas.
And Silas.
Silas.
Yeah, Silas too. Silas.
So you all can continue on the road to Caldern.
Yay.
You begin heading down it. It is a kingdom road. It is nicely patrolled. There are a bunch of other people. They still give you guys a little bit of a berth. You do have a cart being pulled by 2 people, one of whom is holding a symbol of Toreg out in front of him like a battering ram. But as you continue down the road, slowly the sun gets higher in the sky and you go further down towards sea level. And at last, you arrive at the last bridge. It sort of flows, it goes over a small ravine, and there is a big river rushing beneath you.
I'd just like to point out at this time that no one has bothered to touch Silas's symbol, so we can hear what we say.
Yep.
Everybody's quite happy to let this continue. Excellent.
Yes, we're definitely trying to avoid touching that at all costs.
As you approach, you see a bunch of guards around there. And you notice that this bridge seems to be constructed specifically to be raised and lowered. It's not quite a drawbridge because it's not built into a castle, but there's clearly some enchantments at work upon it. And as you're getting near, you hear one of the guards just yelling the same thing over and over again. As you can tell, like he's just here to announce it to people as they're passing through. That this bridge goes down with the sun. It will not rise again until the sun is up. It's basically the only way into the central part of Caldern. So anyone doing any questing or hunting or anything outside of Caldern proper has to either be okay with spending a night outside or they need to be back by sundown. This is a kingdom rule. There will be no exceptions, etc., etc. He's very bored and just going through it over and over again. And you can see just a bunch of guards around to make sure everything's flowing smoothly. You get the feeling this is probably a choke point where they're really trying to keep crazy shit from going down as much as possible. All right. Does anybody want to say or do anything as you cross the bridge with guards staring down upon you, watching, judging?
Silence says many things.
I love that no one has attempted to fucking hear him.
George yells good morning in a very enthusiastic and friendly fashion. Good morning!
I assume we're all just enjoying the fact we can go somewhere without being harassed. Or, well, harassing other people.
It is a pleasant change. You don't know how much anybody paid for that silencing charm they gave him, but you sort of wish you'd gotten a quote on like a bag of them just in case. All right, and if nothing happens when y'all cross the bridge, except for, crossing of the bridge, you walk for about another hour. You're passing, some farms, a lot of like houses off on the side. But you're on the main thoroughfare, and those are a little bit pushed out. But you begin to see the big makings of a city. Although, if we were to describe it in modern terms, this is sort of the suburbs, close to Caldern proper, but not truly a part of it.
Honestly, where Bjorg is from, this is all so much more city than he is used to, so he's just staring around wide-eyed.
Brandon also, this is his first experience in a city, having spent most of his life in the temple, so he is equally wide-eyed.
Yeah. Silas spent most of his early years pretty much being beaten in his temple, so this is a bit of a mind screw for him.
Klaus is looking for things to steal, so he is wide-eyed.
They have buildings here that aren't meant purely for defensive purposes, but to shit in.
Well, Bjorg, those nice clean clothes of yours might be sullied as you shit your pants when you all cross one last hill and you arrive at the massive gates, which are open, no checkpoint, of Caldern, the city on the sea. You see huge sweeping buildings, tall churches, a whole bustling market district, and from up here you can see the ports, the giant ships, and the huge cascading waves out into the blue, blue ocean.
Wait, get back to those churches?
Yeah. Not close enough to see the symbols, but you can definitely see like the notable sort of steeples and whatnot. Well, after 14 fucking episodes, you have all finally arrived at the first destination.
I don't like it. Let's go back to the woods.
And I think this is where we will pick up next game, as you guys finally made it to Caldern. Jesus. Alright, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Authors and Dragons is brought to you under a Creative Commons license, meaning you are free to share this material so long as credit is given to the original creators, which is us, the people who are playing it. The opening music, Take a Chance, and closing theme, Master of the Feast, are both credited to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com and also used under a Creative Commons license.